Yeah, thanks, Abhinav. With respect to smart accounts, smart licensing, how it works, the different portals and some customer testimonies and whatnot, right? So obviously, with respect to the shortage of time, and apologies from my side, I cannot cover like too much in detail. Obviously, if the requests are raised with our team, then we can deal in in depth later. But just to give an overview with respect to our team, what our duties are and how we fulfill them is the agenda. Right. So we'll be discussing about the high touch license experience team and its scope, traditional licensing versus smart licensing. Third topic being the management of the smart licenses, which happens in Cisco Smart Software Manager, which is CSSM. A portal demo, a high level portal demo of managed smart accounts, and CSSM, which is obviously Cisco Smart Software Manager, and the available support channels, which to which we as team also try and contact if there are some topics with respect to licenses and products which are out of the scope from our team too. With that said, this slide will give you a brief with respect to about the HTLE team. So our vision basically stands to basically enable our customers in whatever region we are trying to help them in APAC or in EMEA or in EMR, right? So that they can become self-sufficient with Cisco licensing and Cisco products. So basically, it's the management of two entitlements in a nutshell. The management of a license, whether a traditional license, whether a smart license, or any particular category of a license which is associated for a product, and the management of a product like with respect to traditional device or a smart licensing device or an SLUP device, which is one more evolved form of licensing, right? So basically to make the customers self-sufficient and make them confident so that they can run daily activities in their smart account. They can provision licenses, they can perform activities in the smart account is one of the parameters, right? So that's the vision. When it comes to the mission, basically to enhance the licensing knowledge of our customers by giving them the grooming sessions around various portals like CSSM, which stands for Cisco Smart Software Manager, LRP, which is license registration portal, which revolves around traditional licensing, EA Workspace, which are enterprise agreements, which are long-term standing agreements with which any customer comes with Cisco and they purchase like bunch of licenses in suits, then manage Cisco entitlements and various other portals which for which we try to help our customers around, right? So basically to enhance the customer's knowledge, right, by offering them the free of cost personalized experience and handheld facilitation free of cost throughput the license adoption and engagement of Cisco licensing platforms, because there are various portals for which customers can go and can search for a particular license SKU for a particular product. There are various latching points like sales order number or a purchase order number or a web order ID through which they can maneuver by themselves in a portals and can search for their respective entitlements. So to basically make them self-sufficient, right? Now our team members are spread out globally and it's a 20-member team. Till now our engagement stands at 3,000 plus for all our customers, right? And 24,000 plus hours of training, demos, and facilitation has been done. Our CSAT score stands at 99.1%, right? We have received more than 500 plus five-star ratings. Feedbacks are 99% of the submitters actually want to recommend our service with their counterparts, right? And the languages which we support in our team stands for English, Japanese, Spanish, and French. Okay, and as soon as a request is raised with our team in whatever region by customer success specialist or by success program manager or by renewal manager and whatever the stakeholder is, we try to respond to the request within 24 hours and then we take it forward. Whether customer has a specific query, customer wants a training around smart licensing or whatnot. Okay. Now, if we pay close attention with respect to the on the right hand side with respect to the customer type. So 37% of our customers are enterprise-wide customers, which is a majority chunk. 29% of the customers are commercial. The 15% of our customers are in public sector, then there are federal customers and commercial customers and whatnot. And for each category of customers, they have separate requirements and they have separate asks how a license and a product should behave in the smart in their smart account, and that's where we come in. We try to pitch in our inputs and help our customers around. Okay. With respect to the engagement length for this pie chart, within 0 to 30 days, we try to complete a request, right? And that's 47%. So basically a month, a calendar month, right? So we try to solve, the issues or the training for our customers. We try to do that, right? Then from 30 to 60 days, with respect to 36% of the requests also get prolonged, and 1% of the requests also goes more than 90 days, because there are customers who want to consolidate different smart accounts into single smart account. They want to transfer licenses, and they want to register multiple products. They want to understand on various other subtopics around on-premises and SLUP and whatnot, right? So those requests do take time. This is with respect to HTLE scope. So as I did mention, right, so we help our customers for the adoption, right, for the smart onboarding, how smart licensing works, how it differentiates from traditional licensing, what are the pros and cons, how customers can maneuver around different portals around smart licensing, what to look out for, what not to look out for, right? So we try to cover that in the smart onboarding and the smart account, smart licensing demo, guidance and the best practices around it, right? Then obviously, once the base has been set with respect to all our customers, then we try to dig deep with respect to the smart account analysis, consolidation, and restructuring. Because, I mean, there can be customers who have multiple smart accounts, right? For example, if I pick up any XYZ company and they have, let's say, 4 to 5 smart accounts, and they want to consolidate and they want to restructure their smart account into one particular entity. That's where we try, we come, we engage with the request as well as the customer. We help them how we can do that, how we can transfer the licenses and the products into one single smart account, right? That's one. Fourth being the license conversion and migration. So this is with respect to the conversion of a traditional license to a smart license. So as I did say, right, there are traditional licenses, there are smart licenses, right? So there is also this provision where you can actually convert a traditional entitlement to a smart entitlement if the equivalent SKU is available of that traditional SKU. So we also try to help our customers here where they can convert their licenses from two different portals, LRP and CSSM, right? Then comes the ad hoc portals, but nonetheless, the necessary portals like MC portal, EA portal, and SLP demo and best practices. Now, MC is something called Managed Cisco Entitlements, where all our customers can see what all they have purchased, all the licenses, all the products with respect to their headquarters, all the subsidiaries, all the additional units placed across the globe. So all those entities, if they've placed orders with Cisco, right? So in MC, we can get that consolidated picture. It's a different portal from the smart licensing portal, but it's a good to know portal where you can search for any entitlement if that particular organization has placed an order with Cisco, right? Then we have obviously enterprise agreements where customers get into long-term standing agreements with Cisco to order a bunch of licenses, right? So that is called EA Workspace. And SLP is Smart Licensing Using Policy, which is one more evolved form of smart licensing, which is still evolving, right? We also try to give best practices around it. Now, I do know that for folks with, it might be relatively new. So obviously, I'm giving a high-level overview currently. But I'll be happy once we get into one-to-one engagement, we can talk it in detail for customers as well as for the requesters itself, okay? The sixth point being the training on new licensing features, because obviously Cisco's licensing keeps on evolving. There are new features with respect to our portals around CSSM, around LRP, around MC, around EA. So to actually, tell the customers and the requesters around the new functionalities and how and when it will evolve, right? So there are new features which keeps on coming in every month, every calendar month. So we try to praise our customers accordingly for it. The last being the strategic questions and utilizing the support channels. Now, there are various support channels for which the partners will be having access, the customers will be having access, how customers can actually utilize those portals so that they can better manage their entitlements for a product and a license. And some strategic questions around specific products, like for Catalyst devices, for switches, for routers, for firewall devices. So there are, I mean, for example, there are customers which have specific queries around specific portals, right? Specific devices. So we also try to pitch in and help our customers accordingly for it. Obviously, if it gets too technical, then we try to route those questions to separate teams also, which are support teams, right? But these are some examples of questions which we try to cater for our customers. That how to find the licenses in the smart account. What are the tips for better user management in their smart account? How they can better structure their virtual accounts, which are sub accounts in smart accounts, right? And what are the best practices around it? How to pull reports in the license consumption space. What are the different deployment models which are available in Cisco? Now there are 3 deployment models, like connected mode, mediated. Any questions from anyone? Okay, I'll move on. Various deployment models which are available in Cisco, like connected mode, disconnected mode, and mediated mode, right? How they can upgrade their device to smart enabled OS version, how to interpret alerts in the Cisco Smart Software Manager, CSSM, and act accordingly. What happens when the licenses expire? What kind of alerts come when licenses will be expiring in near future? And to basically train the customers around smart account, smart licensing. Now, these are some sample set of questions. Obviously, this won't cover the whole set, which covers like 60 to 70% chunk of how we try to help our customers. Now, there are some product specific queries and some configurations for which we don't have access to, right? So for them, we try to reach our TAC teams, our L1, L2, and L3 teams, and then we open a collab case with them and try to help our customers with them. Okay. Moving on, now basically this slide and the next slide will basically tell you the traditional licensing scenario and the smart licensing scenario, right? Now in the traditional licensing scenario, we have a portal called LRP. We'll see a high level demo after the presentation is done. So for traditional licensing, we have LRP, License Registration Portal. For smart licensing, we have CSSM, Cisco Smart Software Manager. Now in traditional licensing, which is there from quite a long time. Now, there were various shortcomings which were coming with respect to the traditional licensing, for which now we, as a remedy, now we have smart licensing, and now we have SLUP also, right? These are the 4 pointers which basically covers traditional licensing, why the need for smart licensing arose, right? The physical electronic delivery of the traditional licenses. Anyone, even till currently also, if they order traditional licenses, they get that claim certificate in which they get variety of information with respect to the traditional license SKU, the pack information, the order line number, and whatnot, right? Now there's too much of paper trail basically. Then there's something called pack, right, which is product activation key. Now this is like you need to activate your pack to use the license feature for a particular product. So this is one ad hoc step which you need to perform to make your license active, right? So this was one more con which was associated with traditional licensing. Traditional licenses are device specific too, because these licenses are node locked to specific devices, and then those licenses can only be used for those specific devices. And for the portal itself, it's not a very user-friendly portal. It has a limited view. It creates confusion amongst partners, amongst customers, amongst various customer spots too, right? So because of all these scenarios, right, we did evolve, Cisco did evolve, and now we have smart licensing in picture. Obviously, there are pointers in smart licensing too, which we keep on evolving every calendar month. But at least those particular pain points were catered on and were studied. And now we have this concept of smart licensing. And in smart licensing, the registration becomes easy for a product. There is no need to activate a pack for a license use, right? There is no concept of product activation key in smart licensing. You just need to order licenses from Cisco Commerce Workspace, which is majorly done by partners for by partners for any customer, or generate licenses from Enterprise Agreements Workspace, or you can convert your licenses from traditional to smart, and then your license is ready to be used from day zero itself, right? And it can be placed in the smart account. right? Now, and that license becomes company specific. Now, it's not device specific. For example, what I'm trying to say is that if a license is being consumed on a device, right, and somehow that device gets broken or that device is in the process of replacement, that license is still available in the smart account to be consumed on any other device or maybe on the replacement device, right? So it becomes company specific, not device specific. Uh, the features and the parameters are unlocked. Basically, there is no node locking concept of a license and a product in smart licensing. And the CSSM portal view, which we'll see in a short while, provides you a complete view. What basically, I mean, what is the repository for my smart licenses? What kind of products are being registered? There are many other functionalities which helps in the management of both these entitlements in CSSM portal. It provides you a reporting structure view. It provides you information on your expired licenses. It gives you, I mean, on the landing page itself, it provides you a view of alerts, right? If what are the major activities, what are the minor activities / alerts happening in a smart account. So what I'm trying to say, it provides you that holistic view, and you can take that conscious decision then, right? What you need to do with your smart account or with the license or with the product. Moving on. Now, this slide basically will tell you, the how smart account and virtual account structure is, right? Now, there are two types of accounts. You have a customer smart account and you have a partner holding account. Now, in a nutshell, if a customer is still on that stage where they're trying to gain knowledge and they're trying to onboard for smart account, smart licensing, licenses can still be ordered by the partner for customer. But because the smart account is still not in picture, those licenses can be ordered and can be parked in the partner holding account. And the access of partner holding account holds with the partners itself, and they have a different view of what we see with respect to a customer smart account. Once we engage in one-to-one in detail, then we can talk on both the fronts, right? But that's what partner holding account is. It's like a parking bay for licenses, a temporary parking bay. And once a customer smart account is in picture, those licenses gets moved from partner holding account to customer smart account from Cisco Commerce Workspace. That is the portal from where you can perform that transaction. Virtual accounts are basically sub accounts or subcategories inside a smart account, right? So why do we need a virtual account is, for example, there's this big company XYZ, which is spread across all, right? Americas, Middle East or APAC region, right? Now, if that particular entity is ordering licenses and ordering switches or routers, which are products, right, from Cisco, now it might happen that for a particular region, licenses are being ordered for, right? So you can bifurcate your region-wise specialty with the help of virtual accounts. So you can bifurcate your orders for licenses and products based upon the type of business units you operate in a company. For example, for marketing department, for finance department, for HR department, for operations. For product types, maybe there are some specific product categories and you want to order licenses and products based upon them, right? Or based upon the geographies. So you can have virtual account 1, virtual account 2, virtual account 3, and obviously whatnot later also. So based upon that, you can have many sub accounts inside the smart account. What happens is when you order licenses or products from Cisco, right? Now those licenses will then be specifically placed, right, in that particular smart account virtual account. Now there is this particular kind of category called dropship orders, which follow this particular kind of life cycle, where once you place an order in CCW, Cisco Commerce Workspace, that license gets directly deposited into your virtual account smart account, right? There are other kinds of orders too called district stocking orders, but maybe later once we engage, I can talk to you in detail on that. But prima facie, what I'm trying to say is that these sub accounts try to help, right, in order to bifurcate your orders for specific categories, right? Moving on, these are the user roles which are currently placed in the smart account. Now, these are external roles, customer facing roles. These are not roles which are specific to Cisco. For example, I am a Cisco admin, so I have access to all smart accounts all across the globe with respect to APAC, EMEA, or AMR region. But these are customer-centric specific roles which Cisco allows for the customers like smart account approver, smart account administrator, smart account user, virtual account administrator, and virtual account user. Smart account administrator is sits at the top level, and they can perform and they can see, and they have editable properties all across the smart account. They can access, they can edit, and they can view each and everything inside the smart account. If I go down the ladder, then we have something called smart account user. Now these users can also see, right, and can also view all the entitlements which a smart account admin can, but they don't have editable properties. They cannot basically manage users or delete accounts inside a smart account, right? Now, and then we have virtual account administrator and virtual account user. So you can basically imagine in a way that at smart account level, you have a smart account administrator and smart account user. Virtual account level, we have virtual account administrator and virtual account user. The properties remains the same. The only point is that a virtual account administrator will have access to less virtual accounts, and smart account administrator will have access to each and every virtual account. And it makes sense, right? Because it's a subset role, right? Smart account approver is basically a role which accepts licensing agreements, and that's it. Now, this is kind of a role which is still in talks, and the properties and the functionality of this role might be added into smart account admin itself. Okay, but that is still in talks. Now there is one more enhancement which is coming called SA viewer and a VA viewer and a Cisco viewer. But obviously once that is fully in picture, we can talk in detail on that. So for now we have these 5 roles which are customer facing roles. Now this is a very basic slide which covers like what is smart licensing, right? Now what happens is that customers order licenses, or partners basically orders the licenses in Cisco Commerce Workspace, right? For example, what we are trying to show is that 2 licenses, two network advantage licenses are being ordered for a particular customer. Those licenses are deposited in the smart account. A device then gets registered to the smart account. There's a process by which a device gets registered, and then that product then gets configured to consume that license. So 2 licenses were ordered, product was configured to use one of the quantity. So the one license is being consumed by one device in the CSSM portal, and one license is still free, right? This is how smart licensing works, right? This is the core concept around it. Now, some myths and some actual facts that smart license and smart account are interchangeable, which is obviously no. I mean, smart account is basically a container, and inside a smart account, smart licenses are placed so that products can consume those licenses. So these are not interchangeable terms. Smart license is kind of a subset or basically one of the entitlements, right, which are managed in a smart account. Cisco, the second myth being Cisco can poll customers' network and send down commands because they have enabled smart licensing. No, that doesn't happen either. With CSSM, Cisco Smart Software Licensing, communications actually can never be initiated by Cisco itself. So all the parameters of security and adaptability, right, that is 100% intact for any customer. That is prima facie one of the major reasons why we have smart account, smart licensing also. The third myth means smart license shows the details of customers' business interactions, data type of network traffic, innovation, etc., which is obviously not the case, right? The only information which we get for customers is the license and product information, and that's it. That's how the portal is actually configured to get the knowledge and to get the latching points for both the entitlements. And it doesn't proceed any further, or any other information is not shared. So only the device's serial number, the license sales order number, the unique product ID, those are the kinds of information which are being shared and shown on the portal. Apart from that, nothing more. Now this is a life cycle, how basically the management of smart licensing licenses happen. I think in the previous slide also we did see, but these are just some steps, right? First of all, the licenses are being ordered from CCW. Those licenses are then available in your smart account, virtual account, in a respective virtual account. Then you register a device in the CSSM portal, which is Cisco Smart Software Management Portal. And then finally, the consumption of that particular license happens in CSSM, right? So just the 4 steps. Now we'll jump on to the portal demo. Okay. Right. So this is where majority of the customers perform their operation, right? So this is, I mean, currently you see this drop down which is available for me because I'm a Cisco admin and I have access to all basically smart accounts for each and every customer. But obviously specific customers will have access to specific smart accounts. If they have access to 2, then they can see the drop down. If majority of the customers will have access to 1, then they can only see their smart account listed. They'll also see their CCO ID listed here, right? For example, currently it is showing mine. And now you see these 6 different tabs, right? Where you have manage licenses, which is Cisco Smart Software Manager. I mean, this is the portal which we were talking about from the past 30 minutes. Second tab called download and upgrade, LRP, which is license registration portal. So the management of smart licenses happen in CSSM. Download and upgrade is basically used if you want to upgrade to a newer specific version or a new iOS version for your specific device. You can download that version, you can flash that version on the command line interface of a particular product, and then you have to run a set of commands, and then your product will be upgraded to the latest version. Traditional licenses is the LRP portal, license registration portal, which is used specifically for the management of traditional licenses, the pack-based licenses. Manage smart account basically is like a property holder for a smart account. How many users are there for a smart account? What kind of roles are attached to those users? And how many virtual accounts are there? How to create a virtual account? All those activities can be done from this particular tab. 5th and 6th tab is EA Workspace and MC. As I did say, EA is enterprise agreements, which are long-term standing agreements. Any customer can come, for an EA agreement with Cisco and can order thousands of licenses in one single go. The only caveat is that each and every license SKU which is ordered under a particular category or a suite will have a single start date and a single end date. Then 6th is MC, which is managed Cisco entitlements, which basically will contain all the sales order numbers, all the web order IDs, all the purchase order numbers for all the licenses, all the devices which are ordered by a specific company and its subsidiaries all across the globe, right? So that will be available in MC, right? So for today's discussion, I'll give you a glimpse on CSSM and on managed smart accounts. Obviously, I'll not even talk about like 80%. I'll talk about 10 to 15% of how the portal looks like. There are various other things which goes on these portals, but due to the paucity of time, we have to limit it. So this is managed smart account, and this is an internal test demo account which I'm using. This is not for any customer. So these are the tabs which are actually available here, right? You have account properties, virtual accounts, users, custom tags, requests, notifications, and event log, right? Now, as I did say, right, it will basically contain the properties, like what is the smart account name, what is the domain of the smart account, right? Who was the requester, who was the creator of the smart account, what's the headquarter of the company, what are the additional locations, right? And various other functionalities. Now, my view will be a little different with respect to customers' view because I have access to many other functionalities and buttons which you can see here, for which customers won't be having an access. So however, the property still remains the same. There is no issue in that. There is no change in that. But some functionalities like deactivating an account or changing something. Now, these kind of buttons will not be available for a customer. Customer can raise a request with Cisco, and then Cisco can then notify them, or they can change on their behalf after some validations, some DPL validations are done, right? So, but in a nutshell, account properties contains all these information. Virtual accounts tab is something which will have a list of your virtual accounts, which as I did say, are sub accounts inside the smart account, and also a button called creating a virtual account, how you can create a VA, and then that VA can come into picture inside a smart account. Users tab will basically contain the different users which are associated, inside your smart account. And there's no particular limit with respect to the users, and also the number of virtual accounts which you can add. Obviously, to avoid confusion and chaos, you should limit the number of virtual accounts, and only to specific people. The smart account administrator should grant access to have access to the specific company smart account, but there is no limit as such. Okay. Now, this will contain all the lists, the usernames, their email ID, the organization they're attached to, then the role, all the 5 roles which I did say in the presentation, all those roles, what kind of a role they have, and also the button where you can add users, where you can freshly add a user to a smart account. The only point is that that user should have a CCO ID, right? Which is like a handshake with Cisco. So if a user is not having a CCO ID, first of all, they have to make a CCO ID, and then they can place a request to have an access to the smart account, or the SA admin can add the user from here. So that's a process which we can, discuss in detail later. Custom tags is something which basically helps you to add a tag to your virtual account, and that's it. Requests, notifications are something, if there are requests from different SPOCs to gain access to the smart account, the smart account administrator can approve, reject, or block a particular request. Notifications is something which basically will show you some agreements which the smart account approver needs to accept, or the smart account administrator needs to accept, so that their account can work properly. Event log basically contains what all the activities are happening in the managed smart account with respect to message time and user will be logged here. Creating a virtual account, deleting a virtual account, upgrading a user's role, adding a user, everything will be logged here, right? Let me go back. Now, this is a very high level view with respect to what managed smart account is. As I did say, once you open a request with our team, I'm happy to, or anyone from our team will be happy to share in detail how it works, right? Every tab. Now, this is CSSM, Cisco Smart Software Manager. This is actually where 99% of the activities happen, and this is where the situation and the activities become interesting, right? This is the portal where actually you can manage your smart licenses, where you can register or deregister your products. You can reserve your licenses on specific products. You can have customized policies for your smart account. You can configure in whatever way you want for a particular product. So this is that portal, right? So you have tabs like alerts, inventory, convert to smart licensing, reports, preferences, on-prem accounts, and activity. Alerts, as I did mention before, alerts basically shows you a glimpse of your smart account, right? That what are the major kind of activities or alerts which are happening in your smart account, which you must rectify, which needs urgent attention, priority 1 alerts. Now, those are called major alerts, right? For example, if there is a license insufficiency, if a product or a device is not able to register properly with a smart account, right? Or whatever, I mean, which comes in the category of major alerts. There are 9 categories basically. So those are listed here. Then there are minor alerts. For example, if a license is being expiring soon, right? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So that becomes a minor alert on which you can take an action, obviously taking into consideration renewal managers and CSEs and customer success programs manager. But those are priority 2 alerts after your major alerts are being catered. Then there are alerts called informational alerts, right? Which basically tells you that some licenses are now reserved on devices, right? Now there's this concept of license reservation in which you can reserve smart licenses on products, and then those licenses are then get tied up to a particular product, like what happens in traditional licensing. So those kind of alerts are called informational alerts, on which you don't have to take any action. The system is just notifying you. Okay. Then there is something, then the second tab is called inventory. Okay? Inventory basically is the tab where basically which has the drop down list, how many virtual accounts are there. If you want to search by name or by tag, that is also there. Then there are 4 sub tabs like general, licenses, product instances, event log, right? From general, you try to create tokens to register your products. Licenses basically are, let me open something which has some licenses just to show you a view. Licenses, basically what kind of licenses are there and what is the billing method, how many licenses are available, how many licenses are in use. So basically that license inventory, right? That is available in the licenses section. Product instances is basically the devices. How many devices are configured or registered to a smart account to consume these licenses. And event log, which is, I think by the name itself is self-explanatory, will show you message time user, what has happened, right, with respect to your virtual account for a license or for a product. Everything will be logged here, right? Convert to smart licensing is basically used, right? There are sub tabs on, and I'll not go in detail, but basically this tab is used to convert your traditional licenses to smart, converting product activation keys to smart licensing, converting licenses to traditional licenses itself to smart licensing. But after the conversion is done, what happens? I mean, the activities which are logged in event log. Similarly, you have conversion history, how the conversion was done. You have a separate event log section too, but conversion history gives you a good picture again. And conversion settings. You have to enable or disable some settings in order to convert these entitlements, right? Coming to the fourth tab is the reports tab, and it will generate you a holistic report for all your licenses or for specific basically for licenses which are associated to specific virtual accounts, right? So you can generate a report if you want to find a specific license, if you want to basically see what kind of a license was associated with a specific purchase order or a sales order or a web order ID, right? So you can generate a report for licenses, for devices, and for term licenses. Now, I think we all know that there are three kinds of licenses. There are demo licenses, we have subscription-based licenses, and we have perpetual-based licenses, right? So for specifically for subscription-based licenses, for those term-based licenses, you have this tab. These tabs I'll not go in detail for now. Preferences tab is something which will basically is to enable some flags in your smart account, and also the smart account administrator can generate a daily report if they want, right? That what happened in the smart account, the various POCs which are associated to the smart account, what activities they performed, right? If they want a daily summary in their email, so they can get that. On-prem accounts is something which are basically intra-localized satellites or localized accounts which are only available in customers' premise, and then those on-prem accounts are then synced up to specific virtual accounts to a smart account, and then the licenses and the products uh, are being consumed basically. So in a nutshell, on-prem, we don't have access to customers' on-prem accounts. We just have a limited view, but customers operate on-prem accounts in their own virtual machine, and then that information, that limited information, gets synced up to this portal. This form of deployment is called mediated form of deployment. Okay, so obviously there are many, and there are much more pointers related to on-prem, right? But in a nutshell and in a summary, this is what on-prem is. And activity again works like an event log, but much more detail. Like what's the transaction date, the license SKU name, the license name, the license expiration date, the virtual account to which it is associated to, when the licenses was ordered, the sales order number, the order line number, everything is available here, right? So you can search by license SKU, the serial number, the order number, or the virtual account. Okay. Yeah, and there are other tabs too, which I'll skip for now. So in a nutshell, this is just a glimpse of of smart account, smart licensing. So we saw CSSM and managed smart account. Obviously, we can see it in detail once you open a request with us. Going back to the presentation again, right? Now these are some licensing teams which we are attached to also. HTLE is our team, right? And you can open a request by opening this link, right? Or you can chat with us with respect to this link. Now there are other teams which also comes into picture, and we try to take help from them to better manage our customers and partners. There is licensing support, which has L1, L2, and L3 support. Then there is Ask Licensing Bot, which is only like an invitation bot, then you can gain access to it, and you can ask your questions. Basic questions are then answered by that bot. Okay, then the video tutorials which are available on the licensing comms, and PAS is Product Activation Specialist, which basically deals in the enterprise agreement workspace. But what I'm trying to say is that apart from HTLE, these are also the licensing teams. We take equal help from them. They try to engage with us by we open a case with them, and then in a joint effort, we try to help our customers. These are some testimonials from our various customers, right? And this is just like only 8 testimonials which we have tried to share for now, right? And yep. So this is the site, that link if you open, right? Now this is the link where you can, raise a request with the HTLE team. It will also show some text about HTLE, and this is the link where you can join the HTLE chat room once you click this link, right? 1 minute. Yeah. Once you open this link, that particular page will open up. Okay. So that's all from my side. I mean, I hope, I could give you a brief with respect to smart account, smart licensing. Obviously, apologies from our side, we cannot give you a detailed overview because of the paucity of time. But yeah, that's all from my side. Yeah.
Anant, for sharing that. Thank you everybody for joining. We'd love to hear your feedback about this session and also the content that will be of most value and relevance to you in the upcoming sessions. So I've just posted the link to the chat and would really appreciate you taking a minute to share your feedback. The recording will be posted to our SharePoint and shared with all the registrants. So you all will have access to the recording in a little bit time as soon as I receive it. Um, and and that's it. So if you believe that HTTP is the right fit for your customer, go ahead, raise a request with us. If you have any follow-up questions, reach out or post in our group, and we look forward to working with you and your customers. So thank you very much again for taking the time to attend our webinar. Until next time.
Yeah. Thank you.
I realize some questions are left unanswered on the chat, so we'll be sure to make a note of those and reach out to you separately offline. Thank you for your questions.